Well, we are 3 months into the new year. Just ask yourself, how are you doing with those New Year's resolutions? Is it tapping you on the shoulder, wondering where you went? Well, here to talk to us about how to achieve your resolution or perhaps other goals that you have in your life is Judy K. Katz, Master Certified Coach and author. Good morning, Judy. Thanks for stopping by.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, so Judy, let's talk about, at this point, so many of us have pretty much either given up or we're on the verge of giving up on those New Year's resolutions. Why does this even happen to begin this? Why does this happen to so many of us?
Why does this happen to us? And that's probably what a lot of people are thinking about now. And you know, it's hard because the thing is that what I don't think we realize is that when we make these New Year's resolutions or any kind of a goal, we don't realize that it isn't just about what we think we're going to start, which I'm going to start eating right, or I'm going to save my money or something. What we don't realize is that it's really more about what we need to stop. Because what it is that we need to stop are all of the habits that got us to the results that we're wanting to change as a result of making the New Year's resolution to begin with.
So we're kind of thinking it the wrong way. So what do we need to do to get back on track?
Well, first of all, we need to identify what those triggers are. You
Okay.
know, we have certain triggers that will trigger certain habits, especially the lose the weight habit, or that resolution, or I'm
that's a
going
big
to
one.
have more money. Yeah, that one I think is a really big one. You can tell from the
Everyone talks about
Everyone's
I'm gonna
talking
lose
about
weight.
it.
Okay, so become aware of what your triggers are.
yes, that have you go back. Maybe you get tired and something triggers and you just want to go head for the potato chips, or something triggers. And we have to pay real close attention to what those triggers are so that we can become aware. Becoming aware is the first key.
Okay, so once we become aware, you also talk about maybe don't judge. Don't be too hard on yourself, I guess.
Now, we would never do that, would we, Elizabeth?
Right, yeah, right.
And we do. We get so hard on ourselves, don't we? And, you know, all that little self-talk of, you know, kicking yourself. Some people have a personality that they just want to berate themselves and think that that's going to really get them back into gear, which it does for a nanosecond, and then you don't. And some of us just want to give up. And so the best thing to do is to not judge ourselves and to accept what has happened and to take it more like feedback instead of seeing it as some big failure. Because the minute we start judging ourselves, we're going to put ourselves in a sense of urgency, and we're going to trigger our fight or flight reactions, and then back to the habits.
Back to the habits. You also talk about, you know, once you do those two things, take a deep breath, right? That would be
Yes.
important to do. I mean, physically, there is something to be said, you have told me, about taking a deep breath. It does something to you.
It actually sends messages to our brain that we're safe. When we take a nice, big, deep, slow breath, we're telling our brain, there isn't any threat here. We're fine. We're cool. And that helps to interrupt that pattern of taking us kind of into a trance. This is more about dehypnotizing ourselves instead of hypnotizing ourselves. And the deep breath
Interesting.
is using the body is absolute fast.
Real quick,
Yeah.
lastly, you need to identify, I guess, ask yourself what you really need.
Yes, because whenever we have these emotional triggers, there's something deeper inside that's not getting met, and we need to start to ask ourselves, what is it that I just really need here?
You know, this is really interesting. I know you have a new book out. You're going to be back in the next hour because we're going to pick up
Yes.
where we leave off here. You're going to talk about self-care and the importance of taking care of ourselves. Once we identify all these things,
Right.
how important it is to take care of ourselves. Because especially as women, you know, we're always taking care of everybody,
That's right.
everyone in our family, and then usually we're the last that we look to
That's right.
to address our needs. So Judy, you're going to be back with us in the next hour. Meanwhile, for more information on what Judy does, her new book that is out, go to CASA.com, click on the CASA blog.